Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. Now, we're at 95 leverage with New Grenada. But I sense we can get more, and I don't think we're going to be able to get the rest of the way unless they're willing to let us invest in them. Which they would be for an obligation, which we can't owe them because we already owe them an obligation. I think we're going to need to work on that by trading them what they need. So, they need clothes, they need furniture, they need guns, and they need luxuries and porcelain. So, we'll start with that stuff. Luxury clothes, luxury furniture, porcelain, guns, and furniture and clothes. And I am actually going to swap clothes over to encourage exports. I'm going to do the same with luxury clothes. I'm going to do the same with furniture and luxury furniture. And then finally, I'm going to do the same with porcelain and glass. Because those are all great goods to export. Next, New Grenadine Market. Let me see. You're producing a lot of tobacco, which we could buy. And a lot of sugar, which we could buy. And a lot of fruit, which we could buy. So, tobacco. Sugar. And fruit. Alright. And that should be fine. So that may give us greater leverage growth on them. We'll see kind of how that goes. Once those trade routes are sort of established and running, yeoman farmers are no longer powerful. Oh, that's not great. Oh, but they should be powerful. They should be powerful, gosh darn it. Well, it is what it is. Let me see. Ooh. Nicaragua would accept a power block embassy. Be easier to do this with a protectorate. But no reason not to. Oh, and there's Guatemala breaking off as well. Now, Guatemala. If I made you a protectorate, no one would step in. Let's do it. I know you just became a country, but I think... Hello, what's this? Spain is trying to annex the Philippines. Well, that's very interesting, but I don't think I'm going to get myself involved in that. My goodness, this is going really slowly. Shouldn't have gone for that whole phase. Oh, this is rough. This Universal Suffrage thing is taking its sweet time, I tell you what. Siam sides of Philippines. Netherlands sides of Philippines. Interesting. So Philippines, theoretically. Oh, well, they won't give me Cuba. Gosh darn it. But I want Cuba so bad. That's okay. These things happen. You can't always get what you want, especially if what you want is Cuba. Guatemala backs down. Oh, wonderful. That's actually really good for us. Now they're our protectorate. Their liberty desire is going up, but only because they're isolated from the American market. Are they really isolated? No, they're working on building a port. It's going to take forever. That's okay. These things happen. Gold rush. Gold has been discovered in American Colorado. People from all corners of the earth are converging there, confident that they'll They will discover the next great lode and become incredibly rich. It was a single misplaced foot in a river, his son quick at his side, hoisting him from the water before the currents claimed him. Then, as the sediment rose with both his leg and his walking stick, they saw it, the unmistakable shimmer of Plutus's very blood. By the next morning, they were both at the river with sieves and shovels. By that night, the whole town joined them. Spread the word, 125% migration attraction for Gold Rush, or it's mine, it's all mine, 75% migration attraction, extra gold fields throughput. I'm going to do the second one. I always prefer gold fields throughput to migration. So, how's my leverage? We're at 106. It's not going to get much higher from here, though. I just have to get myself a little bit of investment rights. I need investment rights. Give me investment rights! You fools! Let me spend money on you! Alright. Just make sure I'm not running over infrastructure. Oh, I am going to run over infrastructural capacity in Pastaza. Ooh, that was not smart. I'm going to build a railway there. What about an Ecuador state proper? Where are you with infrastructure? You're just fine. Alright, so I'm going to throw that railway in at the top. That's going to take kind of forever to build. Same as the port in Guatemala. A lot of it failed. Ooh, that's going to give me a setback. That's okay, though. These things happen. It's fine. Legislative failures. Despite many efforts on the part of the government to successfully revive universal suffrage from its present imbroglio, the law has come to be regarded as nothing but an inevitable failure. That bill? Please don't talk to me about it. I would say it's better to just pretend it never happened, don't you agree? Certainly, but that won't stop that fool from asking about it every day. We'll sponsor a complete rewrite. This is going to clear all of our malices and put us back at 17% at a cost of 1 setback. I mean, hopefully this won't be that big of a deal. Southern planters are... Guatemala, you want your own market. I'm actually going to say no. This is going to increase their liberty desire, but it'll go down in due time. My ability to increase... relations... I'm actually going to stop improving relations with Brazil for the moment, because I want to improve relations with Guatemala. And... Central America has become Honduras now. So that's just fine. Can I make them be a protectorate? British Republic will not step in. Nicaragua might. Costa Rica definitely will. El Salvador will. Okay. I'm going to be able to get El Salvador in one go as well. But I'm going to leave it for the moment. I don't want to... I will be able to get the full set, but I don't want to go over my infamy limit. Because especially right now... Not limit. It's not a hard limit. It's a soft limit. And the soft limit exists because... I don't want other powers to be salty towards me. That having been said, cash flow is rock solid, so I think I can afford to increase the size of my construction sector just a little bit. I'm going to throw another couple levels in Massachusetts, and another couple levels in Illinois. And that's also going to be good for my iron mines. And again, I just want to increase the size of my ability to construct. Hey, tech tree. My friend, the tech tree. Hear me out. What if, hypothetically... How many more tier 2s are there? There's psychiatry, organized sports, postal savings, and modern sewerage. So if I did all 4 of those, those are each going to take about 2 years. Oh no, it's actually going to be slower than that. I need more universities, friends. That's my issue. And the only way to get them is to build them. The Crusade for Change. The ongoing effort to implement universal suffrage has captured the imagination of the Whig Party, which has added full-throated support of the new law as part of its central platform. The country yearns for change. For too long, we've watched the nation suffer. Is it not right to call for upheaval? Is it not right to call for the changes that are long overdue? I tell you, we must embrace the future. The Whig Party are the champions of change, 10% momentum, Or the people speaking the nation shall listen, 20% enactment chance. I'm actually going to go for the second one. That puts enactment chance at 40%, and I'm feeling pretty pleased about that. I don't think 10% would have really changed the Whig Party's prospects in the election. Ooh, level 5 law enforcement, and that gives us the Metropolitan Police event. The dedicated police force has solved a series of high-profile murders in Washington, D.C., thanks to our investment in their institution. Public confidence in the police is at an all-time high. D.C. by gaslight can be a treacherous place. The papers would have you believe the danger lurks around every corner, but all that is set to change. With a peeler patrolman on every street, our citizens will be able to stride confidently in the knowledge that they're protected from the criminal element. Medals for all our brave bobbies. 33% of servicemen pops in D.C. become more loyal. Or Washington's finest are on the case, reduce radicals from political movements. I'm going for the first one. More loyalism among the service folk is a good thing to have. Political movement disbanded. The Afro-American National Movement is disbanded. That's curious. I wonder why. Authorial intent. A minor scandal has buzzed around the Whig Party as a piece of reformist fiction written by Jonas Glasscock in his youth has begun to circulate once more. Whilst enthusiastically written, that is the work's only merit. By the way, do not ask anyone about the patent listed under the name of Glasscock. I will not explain what the Glasscock is. You'll just have to Google it. Don't Google it. A plague of superstition and dogma was the end of the United States of America? If that is so, then why are the trains still running? How could they possibly have acquired the coal to fuel it? Your propensity to butcher your main characters for cheap tragedy is nothing short of shameful. And to make matters worse, why would Victor not pursue Estrid's affections when they've known each other for so long? Do you have no eye for redeeming romance? So that's curious. Victor and Estrid appeared in the old version of this, so I wonder if there's a special version for India, or maybe it's just localized to different areas. That's interesting. A new objective unlocked. Figure out all the variations on the authorial intent event. Alright, tragic tale. There's no reason to harass him. Minus 20% momentum with the Whig Party. Or, this is Jonas Glasscock's problem, not the party's. Minus 10% momentum. Jonas Glasscock gets minus 20 popularity. Glasscock is the head of the Petite Bourgeoisie. Yeah, we'll give him less. Keeping momentum high among the Whig Party is better than a little bit of popularity for one dork. Plus, the Petite Bourgeoisie are our most powerful interest group in the country at the present. So, I was looking into forcing Honduras to be my puppet. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to dial it back. I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill. Things are going to be fine, and I'm going to chill. Money in the bank is still rock solid. The Indian removal. Alright, here we go. In accordance with the removal treaty, it's time for the Cherokee of Arkansas to relocate to the interior. I'm not gonna reread all of this again. I'm gonna offer them some assistance for the journey. It's 183 peasants, and I think that's gonna be the end of Indian removal events. There we go. The clearing of the East. The removal of the Cherokee to the Indian Territory is complete. For good or for ill, the matter is settled. Who lived here before us? What name did they give to this place? Will any of us know? Does anyone still remember? Let us pray this shall never happen again. Well, it is what it is. Sorry to see it, but it is what it is. Alright, so we'll see if Maupin comes out on top. Oh, interesting. The armed forces want to join the Whig Party. And the evangelicals are going to flip to the Southern Planters. That's quite curious, so we'll make that change once the election goes through so that we don't get any extra radicals. I don't need bonus radicals. I've got plenty of radicals right now. So I think in terms of construction, the next thing I want to do is I want to increase the size of my universities. So let's work on that. I can get a level 5 one in New York. I can get, well, I'll just straight build up a new one in Pennsylvania. Ohio, I'll build up a level 5 one. I'm going to build up a level 5 one in DC, I think. That one's going to take a while to fully employ, but that'll be fine. That is what it is. And then we'll build up a few more universities in Maryland and New Jersey. And we'll build Massachusetts up to level 5 as well. The Crusade for Change. The ongoing effort to implement universal suffrage has captured the imagination of the Whig Party, which is added full-throated support of the new law to its central platform. Blah, blah, we just saw this event. I'm going to say the people speaking the nation shall listen once again. It's going to give us another 40%. I think because of the way enactment works, that's not going to affect this check, but it's going to affect the next one. Ooh, excellent. We progressed to voting. I knew Masir is going after Japan in a colonial war. I'm not too worried about that. I think that's going to go just fine for Japan with no problems whatsoever. So, institutions were maxed out police. That is what it is. Hopefully we can get to universal suffrage. We're not going to get there in time for this election, but we'll see where we wind up in the next election. More importantly, the Southern planters are going to chill out even more as time goes by. Fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Whig Party, John Brown has encouraged his supporters to vote for it in the ongoing election. For the interest of all principled people, the Whig Party has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving the United States of America forwards under their name. He has our thanks, certainly 30% momentum, or, the endorsement would best be more specific, 20% momentum, stronger Petite Bourgeoisie. I'm going to go with the first one. 30% momentum is a good amount, and that puts the parties neck and neck, which means the Whigs might make it into the government. Now, if I bail out on this petition while the yeoman farmers, if I bail out on the yeoman farmers and change parties while they're working on this petition, they'll be furious. But I could afford that. That'll only put them at -5. If I do it afterwards, it wouldn't be that much of a problem. All right, so James Maupin's term is ended. The Whig Party has won the election. That puts Joseph Wallace into the Oval Office. All right, so now we have an unacceptable government. So, if I swap, though, I'm getting 58%, and I'm getting 18 of those percentage points from the Southern farmers. So realistically, I'm going to wait for one more tick, and then hopefully if I get real lucky, I'll get universal suffrage in the next pass through here, and then I won't have myself so much of a problem, and I can finally do my swap over without creating an issue. Generals misfired cannon. An affair between John Brown and Cullen Eldridge's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, John Brown stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it, not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. That's extremely funny. We still need a general, and these are personal matters. It's going to make the evangelicals really salty. 10% chance Cullen Eldridge becomes an alcoholic. And they both become syphilitic. Or we can't trust a man like this. John Brown will step down, evangelicals happier. I'm going to do the first one. Get out of here. You should have known better. It's the evangelicals' fault. A Foreign Manifesto. The recently translated works of Joachim Buff have become popular within the Protestant traditionalist movement. The relationship has developed to the point of Joachim Buff openly endorsing the movement. And for a whole large class, there is no other road, especially for a nation so eminently practical as the American. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class, that once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one, slightly stronger movement, or this foreign interference ought to be punished. Ooh, that's going to make the evangelicals real mad, and I don't necessarily want that. So I'm going to go with the first one. Having a slightly stronger Protestant traditionalist movement is not that big of a deal. Oh boy, another event. The fugitive slave. A slave belonging to James Maupin has escaped his estate and fled to the northern Free States. Maupin has demanded his return, but abolitionists are calling for his demands to be ignored. There are few things that I care about more than justice. If a man loses his jacket, it's only natural that it would be returned to him, right? I am simply asking what's mine to be returned to me. Why is this causing such an uproar? We shall find and return James Maupin's fugitive slave. That's going to make everyone angry, but the southern planters happier. Or, free soil makes everyone free, James Maupin will get no help from the government. It's going to make everyone happier except for the southern planters. Again, I'm going to go with the first one. That guy will get his freedom pretty soon. If once the government changes up, we'll be in a position to get that guy his freedom one way or another. Gifts among friends. An internal investigation has discovered that a government official received many gifts from Sylvester Yancey on behalf of the American British Society. The official leading the investigation details his findings. Does Sylvester Yancey have no integrity? Among the gifts sent, the following was found: a half-dozen parcels of cloth, a carving knife, a pocket knife, 5 pairs of gloves, 23 barrels of salt, and a dozen bottles of America's finest colonial water. Is this not bribery in support of the American British Society's cause? They've done nothing suspect. 5% of industrialists become more loyal. Or perhaps the leader should step down. Sylvester Yancey resigns. He's an abolitionist. 5 legitimacy for the government. I don't need extra legitimacy for the government. It's going to be higher later, so I'm going to do the first one because I don't want to risk getting a non-abolitionist heading up the industrialists, because I think an end run against slavery is in the works. I am a little short of bureaucracy right now, so I'm going to start converting my first government sector over to the new production method, and that's going to help make things easier. We'll start with the ones in DC, and that's going to give me just enough bureaucracy to function. Which is fine. I'm very pleased with that outcome overall. Infamy is down to 17, which is perfectly respectable. We're going to get universal suffrage soon. God, these checks are taking forever. These are taking like 200 days to check. That's so much. I guess it's because the government is not as legitimate as I would like it to be, but I can't. I need the yeoman farmers right now. Ooh, joint stock companies. I should put together some companies. Iron Confederacy going after the HBC. HBC's got a lot of. Oh, that's because of Britain. I was gonna say HBC's got a lot of battalions, but they don't actually. It's the British. It's because they're supported by the British. It's the British who have a lot of battalions. You goof! I can't believe you thought that, you fool! Definitely not my mistake, you fool! You absolute dingus! Alright, come on, give me universal suffrage. Universal suffrage, universal suffrage, universal suffrage. Yeah! Alright. So, we got another New Neighbors, New Grudges event. These are Australians. Australian culture is Anglophone and European heritage. 70 base. You know, the old Dixie ways cannot dominate our blah 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 blah. Well, no, they don't need any extra acceptance. I'm gonna go with the first one. I'll put them down to 65, which puts them exactly the same place they were before. So now I'm gonna piss off my yeoman farmers by a lot, but it is what it is because we're taking an end run around. We're gonna get rid of slavery. That's just what we're gonna do, and everyone's gonna be furious. But it's time for it's time to fight ourselves a civil war. At 86% success chance, so let's get cracking. Again, that's going to end that. It's going to make the yeoman farmers furious, but again, it simply is what it is. Alright, so there's, a lot of notifications. So, pro-slavery movement is fully radical. Their activism is only at 78%. Colonization of Texas is completed. Wonderful. And there is a secessionist movement. So we'll see if we can get there. I only need about a year to do this, so we'll see if we can hold them off for that long. For now, I'm going to cut all my consumption taxes, or at least a couple of my consumption taxes, and I'm going to suppress the pro-slavery movement and bolster the abolitionist movement. No, I don't need to bolster the abolitionist movement along with this. I can afford a few more consumption taxes. I don't want too many. But weakening the pro-slavery movement is going to be useful on this. Hopefully I can get some help from various sectors of the international world, but I've just got to get rid of slavery. That's really the moral of the story here. Alright, when you have a hammer, General Edmund P. Gaines, noting severe unrest in Arkansas, has proposed using the army to suppress agitation in the area. While his political allies support him, there's heavy risk to following his plan. It's simple. We have an army, and there is the enemy. Let me deploy my men and do what is needed, and the enemy shall be vanquished. That is all there is to it. Reprimand the general and reject the plan. Evangelical, salty, or we must use the tools we have to solve the problems we have. Some chance of the Civil War progress going up or down. I'm going to hit the second one. Civil War progress went up. That's fine. Again, they're maxed out at... Oh, now they're at 85%. Interesting. Predicted activism is 100%, making Civil War imminent. That's interesting. That's okay, though. I have strong belief in my ability to win this. Let me see. Yeah, so, as long as I finish out the rice fields that I'm currently building at the moment, things will be just fine. I've got a little bit more influence to play with, so I'll improve relations with the British Empire. France is feeling very pleased with me. What if you and I had a defensive pact? What if I didn't improve relations with the British Empire? Would you defensive pact with me? Only for an obligation. It would definitely be useful in fighting off my my southern planters. A forked in a sea of anger. Mobs have surrounded an arsenal in North Carolina, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to the insurrectionists. I couldn't sleep last night. The commander refuses to accept terms, and firing continues from both the arsenal and the emplacements that now surround it. After one large blast, I sprung out of bed and went to my knees to pray as I'd never prayed before. A relief column could escalate tensions, but it's necessary. 5% of servicemen pops become more radical, or the mob could be emboldened by a surrender, but we need to take the risk. 5% of officer pops become more radical. Both of these have equal chances of increasing or decreasing the progress of the secession. Ooh, but it's actually going up. Okay, so this might actually kick off a civil war. So I'm going to do the relief column. It's got a higher chance of reducing progress, and that's what I need. Alright, cool. So that's good. Come on, slavery, ban, put me in steady. Yes! Alright, it's got legs. Alright, so 130 days for the next set. So in another 260 days, we'll be okay. We'll hopefully, if we can get to voting, we might be able to get there. I'm tempted to form a defensive pact with France right out the gate. I might... I'm gonna do this. I'll owe them an obligation, which they might be able to call in to pull me into another war, but I think it is what it is. Inefficient agriculture. The industrialists have started complaining about the existence of subsistence farms in Louisiana, stating that their undeniable inefficiency should be immediately addressed. The fertile soil of our people suffers, relegated to tired and callous hands, too exhausted for manual labor to perform at a decent level, too poor to be able to use more advanced tools that would make them more profitable. This industry is just a useless investment. We should follow their advice, extra migration attraction, but 5% of upper stardom pops become more radical, or they serve our purposes, salty industrialists. I'm going to do the second one. My industrialists are at plus 20, I can definitely afford it. Alright, how are things looking, New Grenada? Still at 140, can't quite get them in yet. So, I can for sure dissolve my defensive pact with France later on. It will be useful to have, but, you know, it is what it is. I need it for this civil war, because I'm going to have a civil war at this stage. It is essentially inevitable. The street side standoff. Troops in Kentucky have reported more and more confrontations with belligerent mobs. Fighting will likely break out soon if nothing is ordered. There's only two ways to control the situation. Either pull the troops back or tell them to engage. The soldier shuffled nervously where he stood, shifting the weight of his gun back and forth as he stared at the crowd stirring far too close by. He thought he recognized some of those faces, or he would if they weren't twisted in utter loathing of him and his uniform. What was he even doing? Was he standing with the right people here? Order of withdrawal from Kentucky, increased state penalties from turmoil, 50-50 chance of increasing or decreasing Civil War progress, or the army and the people are one, let them talk it out. 33% chance of reducing Civil War progress, sorry, 33% chance of increasing Civil War progress, and 10% of servicemen pops in America becoming more radical, or 66% chance of 2% of pops in Kentucky becoming more loyalist and reducing Civil War progress. I'm going to do the second one. This is available to us because we have national militia, and I'm hoping that's going to work. It did not. Great. Oh, I'm so good at stuff. I'm able to hire an abolitionist leader somewhere. Doesn't seem like it. Alright. So, English master. Wow, you really, Ooh, I've got a new mandate available. That's exciting. So, what do I want? I could upgrade Ideological Truth, or I could go for another one. I do eventually want to have... So, defensive cooperation wouldn't get me much straight away, but I think it's definitely going to be a useful thing to have in the short term. I can get vassalization, but that only gives me authority from subjects, and I don't love that. It's not as useful as it could be. I definitely am going to want market unification eventually. Like, I think defensive cooperation and market unification are in my medium-term goals. So which is more important for the short term? I think... Oh... I think defensive cooperation. It's defensive cooperation for role-playing reasons. Alright, so that's going to put us at 6. 6 more years until our next mandate. It's not going fast, but it is what it is. We'll go to the end of the year. I don't think ACW1 is going to pop off during that time, but we'll see. We'll certainly see. Alright, so the pro-slavery movement has hit 100% militarism. The mob approaches. Belligerent crowds have been getting increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in North Carolina. Hardliners in government are demanding tougher responses, while Dubs are calling for troops to stand down at the first hopeful step in de-escalation. A whiff of grape shot saved the day once, and it can be done again. I'm telling you, we need to show strength now. Strength. Bullets are an admission of weakness. We need to talk. Show them we're not afraid. That's how we'll get them. Disperse the crowds by force. 50-50 chance of more radical pops or reducing Civil War progress. Or order the troops to stand down. 50-50 chance of more loyalist pops or decreased Civil War or increased Civil War progress. I'm going to go with the second one. I got Civil War progress. It's not going to make a meaningful difference. We were already at 80% and getting 20% per step. So, that's going to put us likely into the Civil War as soon as this pops off, which is 7 weeks from now. So, next episode will be the beginning of our Civil War. I have French assistance, so hopefully it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But we'll see how things go from there. Last thing we're going to do is see if we get another step of success for banning slavery, which I'm hoping we will do. And we sure did. That is the end of the episode, my nerds. I've had fun. I hope you've had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.